pin light, like laser beam, into my car, catching on fire in the driveway.
No way.
So we keep it on my desk as a paperweight, as a great memory of when he saved my Mercedes.
Wow.
We're live on Instagram now, by the way.
Wow! Welcome!
Setting cars on fire with crystal balls.
Setting it on fire. What do you want to know?
Let's get going here. Let me get us kicked off. Welcome to.
I thought that was my job to get us kicked off.
Close it. Close it. I will tell you when to speak. I'm gonna mute you here. This will be the most lively one of these I've had. I'm thinking of it.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure I'm going to invite Fantastic back.
It's my one and only shot going live.
So we are here today to talk about homeowner maintenance and renovation projects that you can do while you are safer at home. I've got a couple of guests with me today. Jeremy Martin with All Pro Home Inspection and Van Hoy, who is our Chief Experience Officer at Chord Real Estate. But I'll let them introduce themselves a little bit, tell you how long they've been doing this and what they do, and then we'll get going. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Go ahead, Van. Oh, all right. Hey, everybody. Jeremy Martin, All Pro Home Inspections. Yesterday was our 12th birthday in business. So we are 12 years here in the Middle Tennessee area. 10,000 plus homes inspected. Craziness to even think about that number. And still chugging along here in the quarantine. Hope everybody out there is safe and healthy.
We lost our host.
We did. I think he went to get a snack.
Sorry, my little robot vacuum was kicking on. I was like, "Ooh, turn that up."
You're so technologically advanced.
Van, introduce yourself.
Hey, I am Van. So, I'm the Chief Experience Officer here at Chord Real Estate, in charge of the branding and design, and of course oversee the staging. And we've been doing this together, Steve and I, and his wife Ashley, who is the broker and COO. We've been doing this together for 11 years under a couple different corporate names, but yeah, Chord Real Estate. Look out, your real estate concierge.
Nice.
So I'm Steve Luther once again. I'm one of the owners, Van is as well, and one of the real estate brokers at Chord Real Estate. We've been doing this for quite some time, just trying to do these weekly shows for you guys. We've got a couple of ways you can ask questions. We're monitoring the comments on Instagram Live, so feel free to pop up a question there. We'll try to catch it as it scrolls by. We've also got an email address set up for you guys. You're more than welcome to shoot an email to AskTheExpert@chordrealestate.com, and Chord is CHORD, like the music chord. If you have any questions after the live broadcast, feel free to shoot them to that email address anytime as well, and we'll get those answered for you later. Let's kind of dive in. So, Jeremy, you've been doing this for quite some time. We've known each other for a really long time. What are the most common things you run into in terms of maintenance issues that if people were paying attention to them, you wouldn't be running into so much?
Absolutely. And that is true. Steve and I have known each other a long time. So probably the number one thing, especially coming out of winter, going into spring, that you can do to your own home is clean your gutters and check your downspouts. You want to make sure there's no debris in your gutters, no leaves, sticks, and pine needles and such that are clogging that gutter and that downspout, because that's the number one reason crawl spaces and basements flood this time of year, because of the amount of rain that we get in the spring. And Middle Tennessee has turned into Seattle for some reason. I don't know why, but in the rain precipitation we've been getting. But if a homeowner can actually get that done, or do it themselves if they're not worried about getting on the roof or climbing a ladder, or if so, hire someone. And extending your downspouts away from your house, getting those at least 6 feet away with some of the, you can get some of the corrugated pipe at your local hardware stores, and that will prevent water from coming into your house, which is a bad thing. So that's probably the easiest, most recommended, most seen item people can do that we see a lot of. So you guys got any thoughts on that stuff?
Do you recommend leaf guards and stuff like that?
I do, and there's several obviously companies out there that do that kind of stuff. I on mine, I just have a simple screen, so it's like a mesh screen. It's not the fancy helmets or guards or whatever, but that definitely helps keeping that debris out and keeping those gutters clear. And most those gutter companies and roofing companies can install that for you, and that will, that's a great product.
I saw, because, for me, the aesthetics speak to me, right? So I did I don't know what the brand is, I won't say, but it has the cap, right? Where the water pours over it and into the gutter. And I found that it is miserable to keep clean because you've got all that debris pouring over constantly. So it's a constant maintenance item. Whereas people who have spent the money for the fancy leaf guards that have a mesh, some sort of a mesh. It's not the typical wire mesh, but there's some sort of mesh.
Right.
That you don't see the all that filth, and that the gutters stay clean looking. So.
And that's just as important. Keeping the debris off your roof, off of your gutter systems, out of your valleys, because that will also create backups in water that can penetrate your house, and that's no bueno either, no good. So, I agree. Some of those aren't pleasing to the eye. I like the gutter screens personally, but even those require a little bit more maintenance. Making sure they're clean, because those leaves will sit down on top of them, especially over the winter.
Gotcha.
And they kind of get gunky.
Do you see a lot of when gutters are getting full of debris and stuff? Do you see a lot of them start to pull away, sag, cause water to get back behind and start rotting the eaves?
Yeah, absolutely. So that gutter, all those leaves will fall down into there, and of course it'll get wet and they get heavy. They'll start to sag, and they'll start to pull those gutter nails right out of the eave. So then you get a gap, between your gutter and your eave. Well, then that water just starts tucking in behind between the gutter and the eave and the soffit. And then that soffit will start to rot. It's a cascade of bad stuff that keeps happening. And it's a simple fix, making sure your gutters are clean and caps. It's just not something a lot of people think of. Like, oh, they're gutters and they work and I don't have to think about it. Well, here in Middle Tennessee, with all the trees and leaves and sticks and twigs and pine needles and all the stuff that we have, man, those gutters just soak it up. So those gutters also will start to rust on the inside because of that debris is just sitting in there, right? And it's all wet, and it will start to actually rust the gutter, which is not good either. So clean your gutters.
The message is to clean your gutters, or else you're going to sag, you're going to need to tuck, and then you're going to rust.
That's right. And nobody wants that.
All
No.
right. Let's change it up a little bit. So Van, you do staging stuff for us. You do staging to live, basically helping people, I guess, personalize their home when they're moving in. But the situation that we're in right now, where people are stuck at home, maybe money's not as free flowing as it has been in the past.
Right.
What are some inexpensive things people can do to just improve curb appeal? Curb appeal is a big thing we talk about when we're getting ready to sell a home. What are some of the things people can do that are low cost, no cost, that dramatically help curb appeal?
Yeah, well, what the thing I tell people all the time is just go out to the street, right? And take a photo of your house and then zoom in on it on your phone and take a look at it. And what do you see, right? What doesn't look right? What's not symmetrical? Do you have a shutter kind of sagging? Oh, back to the sag, right? You got a shutter sagging. You got something rusting. Who knows what it is? But you might find that there's weeds and things you don't normally see because you don't take the time to look, right? Sometimes I tell people just take a walk around your neighborhood. If you walk up and down the street and you look at other people's homes and then come back to yours, you're going to see something that maybe will pop out that you wouldn't normally see. I don't typically take walks, and now my family has me going and taking walks every day. So now I'm seeing things about my own house, right? And you start seeing things. So the easiest thing to do, of course, is to pull weeds, touch up paint, clean, right? That's what, I mean, my goodness, that's usually half the battle, right? You could power wash your driveway or your front sidewalk. Another thing you can do, especially if you're wanting to kind of give it a crisp look for the spring, or maybe getting ready to sell at some point, is to just touch up the front door. That's that first moment of contact where people have with your home in person. So if you make sure your front door is crisp, the paint, there's no dirt or whatever, or rust on things, and then the door jamb around, if you paint that, give it a nice crisp coat of paint, it does a lot to feel good about that home walking in that front door.
You got a lot of rules of thumb that we've discovered over the years. What about like door color, the trim color, the like side lights, that kind of stuff? What do you paint what color, and what do you
Thank you for asking. Thank you. So side doors, back doors, paint them your trim color. But the front door itself, paint it something else. Paint it the same color as your shutters. Put on a wood door and stain it. But don't paint it the same as your trim color. And please don't paint your front door white. You want people to want to come to the door. You want people to know that that is the front door. So, yeah. How's that?
What about side lights?
Oh, the side lights. Okay, so people don't always know what I mean when I say side lights. So you got your front door, and then there's these little narrow windows along the sides of the front door, right? So you have the door slab, then you have some trim, the door jamb, then you have the little side lights, and then a little more trim. So I always tell people, make sure you paint the side light trim the same as your trim of your house. Only paint the door slab the door color. Don't bring that color out onto the window panes of the side lights. Paint those the same as your trim. It'll make the front door pop, and you won't have, like, if you have you will often see people painting their side light trim the color of the door, and it really puts this big black splotch on the front of the house or whatever. If you'll just paint the door slab itself, the door color, and everything else is the trim.
Go-to colors?
Go-to colors. Knock yourself out. Just don't match your trim.
Aqua blue.
If you're in the right neighborhood,
Color of my shirt.
why not? Black is my favorite color for a front door, but that's very traditional. So, back in the old days, they'd paint them red if they paid off their mortgage. Now you can paint it red anytime, right? It's there are no rules anymore.
We'll jump back to some maintenance stuff here. Before I do that, just a reminder: if you're watching online on Instagram Live, feel free to drop a question in the comments. We've got a home inspector and our designer on the call. So if you have any questions about homeowner maintenance tips, renovations that'll increase the value of your home, anything like that, just drop them on the comments on Instagram Live. You can also shoot us an email at asktheexpert@chordrealestate.com, and that is CHORD, like the music chord. Jeremy, we talked about gutters. I think we run into nail pops and rotting boots and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
What's the best way for a homeowner to inspect their house? I mean, are there certain things that a homeowner can look for that maybe if they know where to look, maybe you can talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I'd recommend is, get outside, kind of like Van said, get outside and look at your house and walk around it. If you can, see your roof, if you can see the shingles without having to climb a ladder, if you can just step back, take a look, what you're looking for are any areas where you don't have any shingles. Hey, whoa, I'm missing some shingles. That's not, that's something you don't want. Plumbing vent boots, that's another area of leaks and things that will crack and deteriorate. Those are harder to see from the ground. Grab a pair of binoculars if you have some. Safety. We're a big safety first kind of company. We want everybody to be careful. If you are comfortable climbing a ladder and getting on your roof is easy to climb. Okay, you can do that. If you're not, you can definitely hire a handyman or someone, even an inspector. We could come out and just give you a look and see what's going on. If you're concerned, walk around your house, look at your outside faucets, especially after winter, even though we didn't really have a winter this year, not much of one. Make sure they're not leaking or dripping. You don't have any water, coming out that's not supposed to be coming out. You can look at your HVAC system. Is it dirty? Is it all gunked up where the fins are, where it pulls the air? You're going to want to get that cleaned. That's going to help it perform better, which is going to be, cool your house down better in the summer, which is coming. They'll probably be here next week, in Tennessee weather. This will also prolong the life of your HVAC system, which is always a good thing. Those kinds of things that you can look at. Look at your driveway and your sidewalks. Are they cracked? Has the cracks gotten bigger over the winter? You're going to want to get that sealed up. You don't want water pouring down into those cracks, which will create those sidewalks and driveways to separate, even more. Like Van said, your front door. So look at your front door. Look at the trim at the bottom of your front door. Is it deteriorating? If it is, it needs to be fixed. You can putty it if it's small, or you can, cut it out and actually replace the wood. That'll help keep water out of your house as well. It's really just looking for things that don't look right. And that's kind of what home inspectors do anyway, right? We just look for things that don't look like they're supposed to look. If you have a deck, check the wood on your deck. Make sure it's solid, no loose parts, no rotted parts, deteriorated parts. Some of it may just need to be nailed or screwed back down. Your deck may need to be cleaned and maybe resealed and maybe pulled off and some new pieces put back down for safety. You're really just looking for things that don't look right. Some of it's easy fixes, some of it's really simple. Some of it, does require a professional to come out and to fix some of that stuff. You can actually clean your HVAC systems yourself with a solution of just, some soapy water, like in a sprayer and a garden hose with a high pressure sprayer on there. You can, really clean it. You're not comfortable doing that, an HVAC company will do it for you for, I think they charge like a $60, home maintenance fee, which is, I think, well worth it. Come out and make sure it's running like it's supposed to. Because when it comes July and your unit chokes up because it wasn't clean, you're going to wish you cleaned it in April, that kind of stuff. So what about you guys? What have y'all noticed and seen over the years with some of the home maintenance stuff you can walk around your house and see?
Man, I just, in my own personal home, this last weekend, my son and I were power washing. My father-in-law gave me a power washer, Steve. Gotta love that. So I'm out there power washing the back patio, and on the bay window, I'm hitting some of the hardy board on the bay window, and I realize I see a little bit of paint chipping on the windowsill of the bay window, and it turns out I've got a rotten windowsill.
Oh yeah.
Which I would have never noticed because I'm not sitting out there hanging out, you know. So now I'm gonna be able to fix that so we don't have a worse problem at some point, you know. But that would be something I wouldn't have noticed. And the paint, I have really good paint, so the paint was kind of hanging on more so than the wood was underneath.
Yeah. And what you can do, you can take like a flathead screwdriver and walk around your house on your windowsills and your door jambs, and just carefully, just slightly press it in. And if it goes in very easily, then your windowsill or your door jamb is starting to deteriorate. If it doesn't, then it's still good. If it's still nice and firm and it doesn't penetrate the wood, then you're good. A pressure washer, man, knocked it off. That's awesome though. Here's a little tip about pressure washing. Or not a tip, but just it is instant satisfaction when you pressure wash.
Baby.
Love cleaning decks and driveways with a pressure washer. Man.
I'll tell you something that I've noticed, and this is going to sound a little gross maybe, but I'll give an analogy. You know, you hear people, you know, you can't smell your own body odor. I've come to think that you also can't smell your own pets. You can't see your own lifestyle residue, to coin one of Van's phrases. It's crazy sometimes people don't realize what they're overlooking.
Yeah.
So, you know, just stepping back and really focusing. And one of the tips Van gave earlier was taking a picture. Sometimes it's easier to do it that way. Take a picture and look at the picture. Sometimes you'll see things you won't see in real life. That's the thing I would say, and have a third party look at it. Out of curiosity, Jeremy, do you have many home inspections that are done that aren't related to a sale? Like people just have one done just for routine maintenance purposes, or?
Not a whole lot. What we do get asked, especially if the homeowner maybe is elderly, or they've just been in a house a long time and they just don't know what's going on with their house. They'll call us, want us to know, if we can come out and take a look and see if there's anything in particular going on with the house. So, obviously most of our inspections are real estate transaction based. But we do encourage people, hey, if you want to know what's going on with your house, you've been there a long time, and man, give us a call. We'll definitely come out and take a look and give you at least an update on the areas you can't or won't go to, your roof, your crawl space, those areas. And it helps people out. Some people have no idea what's going on. Like you said, you kind of get blind to your own environment. I do it here in my own house. I'm an inspector. You get used to seeing the same thing over and over, and then you're finally like, I might need to fix that.
That's part of this. The quarantine has caused me to notice things that needed to be fixed, and now we're working on them and painting and touching things up.
We did have someone ask if we would work outside of the U.S. So
hey!
We are licensed in the state of Tennessee in terms of real estate. We've done some consulting. We do, we have an international division at Chord, and we've worked with a lot of international clients, typically purchasing property, here in Tennessee. Van, I know you've done some consulting outside of Tennessee in terms of design and that kind of thing. I would say for us, if it makes sense, we'd absolutely be happy to look at it. I don't know if Jeremy's going to be traveling for home inspections, but you can.
For the right price, the answer's yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just to remind everyone, if you're with us on Instagram Live, if you have a question, we're talking about homeowner maintenance tips and renovation projects that will add value to your home. while you are safer at home. Feel free to drop a question in the comments or shoot us an email at asktheexpert@chordrealestate.com, CHORD. Dryer vents is another thing I see people miss all the time. Nobody cleans the dryer vents. It causes like 15,000 or so fires a year.
Yeah.
And they're clogged constantly. Rental properties, I'm annually, I want to check and just see, are they just even picking the lint off? Not even so much cleaning the line, but just picking the lint off the trap.
It's funny. We did it, not funny, true story. We did an inspection not too long ago. And of course, when you're walking around the house and, there's your dryer vent, we always take a look at it to see if it's got a cover or a screen and, if there's any lint or debris. And I kid you not, this dryer vent was so full. There was, in all the lint, so it's coming out of the hood, right? There was a Ziploc bag in the lint with all, in the dryer vent right there. I was like, holy moly, man, that's clogged. That's a lot of lint with a Ziploc bag.
Somebody asked how long we've been in business. Chord has been around for, I guess, about 3.5 years. But I've been in the business going on 19, I guess. Van, you've been doing this for quite some time. We've worked together for
11 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, how long have you been a home inspector?
Yesterday was 12 years.
Wow. Congratulations. I didn't realize it was yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday was our 12th birthday. So
awesome.
12 years.
Let's move
party hat. I'll put on a party hat for you.
Let's talk about things inside the house. HVAC filters. We see all the time people forget to change the filters. There's services now you can sign up for where people will or you'll get a filter sent to you in the mail like once a month or something like that. There's a lot of, depending on the HVAC company you talk to, there's a lot of conversation around the type of filter. If you just use the cheapest filter you can put in there, do you get the lifetime antibacterial, antimicrobial, crazy mesh filters? A lot of people say that restricts airflow, reduces the life of the unit. What's been your experience with that, Jeremy?
Definitely change your filters. And I agree with you, Steve. These days, man, it's so easy. You can sign up for these companies. They'll deliver them to you once a month if that's what you choose. And you pop them in, pop them out. And I agree. It's either like, the cheapies that you can basically, I don't know, there's nothing in it very easily. It looks like everything would go through it. Then you get the ones that look like, a mattress. Nothing would penetrate. I'm a middle of the road guy. So I say split the difference. Find some that are reasonably priced that do have, that are going to pick up the lint and the debris that's coming through your HVAC system and change them monthly. They're not expensive. The hardest part is remembering to change your air filters, or it are for me. I don't even think about it at times. So you walk by it and it looks like, it's growing and like, oh man, I need to change that. And you open it up and it looks like a mole hair sweater. So definitely it will improve the life of your HVAC system as well, because you're going to keep that thing from struggling to pull that air through there. So I'm a middle of the road guy. I buy mine at the Home Depot or the Lowe's. I get I think they come 2 or 3 in a pack, and just change them out. I'm probably not once a month. I'm probably once every 2 months kind of guy, but just make sure you're changing them. We've seen some that look like they've never been changed. And some of them are hard. Some of these newer houses, you see them, they're up in the ceiling, they're these vents, and they're like, man, you got to get a ladder or get some help, somebody to come out and change those. So in those situations, you might want to go with one that doesn't have to be changed as often, since it's, you have to climb up a ladder and get up there.
Had a couple of questions on Insta. Well, one guy was asking about the USA again. Money's right. We will go anywhere. but we
And if
are,
not, we could be it virtually, right?
Yeah.
of course. We had a question about our perspective on the slowing demand, any ways to pivot to try and maintain inflows, I guess, meaning buyers and sellers. You know, we've gone to a lot of virtual stuff here in the last couple of weeks for sure. We've definitely seen a slowdown in showings. There's been a big drop in the number of listings too. But I'll tell you, the people that are in the market right now are serious. They've sold something, they need a place to go, and so you know there's still business happening. It's a matter of you know being in the right place, I guess. But you know we've gone to doing things like this, just try to be a resource for people to try and answer questions when you know the market is transitioning the way it is. There's a series of these videos posted, so if you have questions like that, they're probably addressed in another video. But Van, by the way, we're talking about maintenance and renovation projects that will increase the value of your home. Van, one of the cheapest things that we tell people is paint. Paint the inside of your house. Do you have some go-to colors for the inside?
Well, I would preface this to saying before I even go paint, the number one thing you can do that's free is clean. Clean, 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 clean. Clean. Did I say that before? Clean. Clean your house every single day. What?
Remove the lifestyle residue.
Remove the lifestyle residue. Oh my goodness! Right now I have my son. Every day he is scrubbing one door in the house and the door jamb, because that's just one thing that often gets overlooked, right? And if you look at right where the doorknob is, there's a little bit of just lifestyle residue, right? Some fingerprints or in dirt, whatever. And so I have him right now. He's doing one door every single day. In a month or two, it'll be done. But it takes him 5 or 10 minutes. But I'm telling you, he has done our first floor, and it has made a difference. It's amazing. And and then I'll get him on the baseboards next. Look out. But yeah, cleaning, because when you clean, you uncover things, right? You do uncover the things that need to be painted. Often people don't see that because it's the lights are dim, or things are dirty, or you got furniture in front of stuff, or you got piles of stuff piled up, whatever. But if you start cleaning, go Marie Kondo on the place. What does she say? Spark some joy. Then all of a sudden you start to see the things that can be painted. And yes, absolutely, painting makes all the difference. That's, cleaning, number one, is the cheapest way to give your house that spark. And then the next thing would be to, of course, paint. And
let me interrupt you real quick. We did have a question. People were asking our pricing structure for getting your services for staging and design work.
$1 million.
So we've been doing this for a long, like we said, we've been working together, I guess 11 years or so. You, me, and my wife, Ashley, who is our managing broker at Chord. But we always looked at this as a marketing expense. We try to make the homes look their absolute best. So it's something that we roll into our commissions. So when you hire Chord Real Estate, you get Van as an added bonus. And
what a bonus it is.
And we've got I think 1,600 square foot of warehouse space that's stacked floor to ceiling with high-end furniture, artwork, accessories. We don't charge anything for that. It's just part of our service. Now depending on price point, depending on the market for a certain price band, there may be various levels of staging that are needed. We don't typically go in and just take everything out and fill a house with everything. It's not a model home. We're we're staging to create an emotion. We're staging to eliminate moments of pause. I should probably let you talk about this, Van. Why don't you talk about staging and what we do and why we do it?
And what was the context of the question?
They were just asking about pricing structure, how we charge for staging and that kind of stuff.
Right. So as far as the staging goes, we are looking to make sure that people get a vibe or a feel, right? So when they're walking in the front door, from the moment they walk in the door, we catch them, hopefully, and pull them through the home as they walk through. So whether it's staging to sell or staging to live, our clients will take advantage of our services when they buy a home, because they say, I loved how you made my house look for sale. I wish I had known you when I bought the house. Well, now they get to have that service. So we come in and as, my name is Van. I call it vandalize. We're going to vandalize you. So we come in and we make the home just spot on so they can really experience the home the way it was intended. So we try to create some emotion by making sure paint colors are right. They're warm where it should be warm, bright where it should be bright, and then go through. So sometimes with the staging, there are what we call, as Steve mentioned, the moments of pause, right? There might be an awkward spot in the house, or there may be a room that just feels a little too small or maybe a little too big. So we come in and we have solutions for that to make sure the space is being used properly. And so when you do go to sell, that people will go, oh, that's what that room is for. Oh, that's what that space is for. We had a large celebrity home that had a kitchen and a little space, and it looked very small because the kitchen was so huge. And there was this little space, what you call a nook, and they just had a big chair there and a little table and a lamp, and then there was this other room just off of it, open to it, and I'm like, oh no, this is your breakfast space. This is a keeping room, and it was like, what, And here you have this giant mansion, and there was one living space on the whole main level, and so when we were done, we were able to make the space that looked oddly small, but when I put the right furniture in, there was seating for 4, a breakfast table, and then we were able to create a whole separate living room, basically, what we call a keeping room, which is open to the kitchen in some of the larger homes. So, helping people to know how to use the space that they have.
And I'll just add to that, if you're one of our buyer clients, we also give you a couple of hours of Van's time to help you lay out your new home. So, if you want help.
Or sometimes we shop, sometimes we just, have a coffee. Jeremy's like, what is happening?
Yeah, this is derailed.
I'm thinking, come on to my house, Van. Come to my house.
Yeah. Well, just put on a pot of coffee. I'll show up.
If you're with us on Insta Live, if you have any questions, we're talking about homeowner maintenance tips and renovation projects to add value to your home while you are safer at home. Feel free to just drop a question in the comments or shoot us an email at AskTheExpert@chordrealestate.com. Chord is CHORD. Smoke detectors, Jeremy. We're supposed to change the batteries like every 6 months. Does smoke detectors go bad? Like, how often should you consider changing a smoke detector?
Wow, that's a great question. Just off the top of my head, I want to say what I've seen and read, I think they have a good 5-year-ish, lifespan. Now, I'm talking about the ones that you would install on your own, that you could buy. If you live in a house that that are wired in like a big system, which a lot of newer homes have, they probably have a little longer lifespan. But I would, I would take it down and test it. Obviously, if it's an older smoke detector, and if you're like me, just put it anywhere near your kitchen, and it'll go off every time you cook. So go, but yeah, you're supposed to change your batteries. They recommend changing them during the daylight savings time, whichever one that is, the spring or the fall. And if that ever goes away, change them twice a year, every 6 months. If you don't, it'll start beeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, as they always do. Where is that smoke detector? I installed, I guess, about a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe now. I installed all new smoke detectors in our house, and just went and bought them. They were super easy to put in, a couple of screws, and just popped them into the ceilings and all the bedrooms and the living areas, popped in the batteries. And I think the batteries that came with them were only about 6-month batteries because they all started going off. And yeah, so smoke detectors are important. CO detectors are important as well. So if you have any gas fired appliances, logs, heating systems in your home, a carbon monoxide detector is also recommended.
Do you
Okay.
recommend putting them in every room where there's a header so that, like, whenever there's a break in the ceiling, you should have it in that space?
I would, yes. Yeah, so like a living area, at least a couple, like say on your first floor van, obviously all bedrooms. So then on your first floor, living areas, maybe a dining area. I don't recommend the kitchen just because they go off all the time in the kitchen, but put one near. But if you need to put one in the kitchen, put one in the kitchen and just know it's going to go off every time you smoke up the stove or the oven. Hallways, like so in your hallway where your bedrooms are, any entry points. So like at the bottom of the stairs or the top of the stairs, that way it can catch the smoke coming or going. And then just make sure they're all operational. So test them, right? And you've got the test button on them that you can push. But they do make, you can actually buy it. It's like looks like a little wick that you can actually light, and you can, it's almost like you can push it out and light it, and it'll go off, and then you can turn it back in and close it, and it won't go on fire. Yeah, and then they also make a spray.
Do you recommend mounting your smoke detectors on the ceiling or at the tops of the walls on the actual wall?
I guess that comes to preference, but all of mine are mounted on the ceiling. So that way,
it needs to be on the highest spot, but I don't know.
Yeah. So all of ours are on the ceiling, and in the bedrooms, they're all near the bedroom door, so that smoke coming in, because smoke's gonna smoke rises, right? So it's gonna try to come in towards the top and then hit that detector. So you want that as soon as possible.
Somebody had a question about getting into real estate. Give us a call, 615-988-1001. We'll have a conversation about that. Be glad to talk to you about it. You definitely
like crawling under houses. We'll take you too.
We're hiring, and there's a lot of people that are not right now, but we're happy to have more people at our brokerage. So give us a buzz.
Bring it.
So all this COVID stuff going on, there's a lot of talk about how to properly clean your surfaces, all that kind of stuff. Jeremy, I know you've got some new gadget now to do like an ozone thing. Have you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I hadn't fired it up yet. I just got it and I'm excited about it. So we did some research, and so we bought an ozone machine. Which, from what I understand, it's an ozone / UV light machine, and you can run it in your car or in your home or in your business, and it produces O3, which oxygen is O2. This is O3, which is ozone, and I didn't know this until I started researching it. But ozone kills like all kinds of viruses and bacteria and smells, which I think odors are basically bacterias. It kills them by, when it touches their outer wall, it disintegrates that wall, and then once that wall is disintegrate for that bacteria or virus, then it can't survive and it dies. It's pretty amazing. Here's also something else that's cool. It's also the same as when a lightning strike. So when lightning hits the earth, it produces ozone. It's the same thing. And because that's what it is, it's electricity and air and that process. So we're definitely looking at incorporating that into somehow of our business. Maybe after the home inspection for the buyers. Well, actually, there's several ways we could do it. And before they move in, we could run the machine and have it disinfect the house. We could also do it on a pre-listing for sellers. If they before they put the house on the market, it can be ozone cleaned and certified. Those kinds of things. So I'm anticipating in my own home this weekend and seeing how it works. So kind of excited about it.
So instead of having the shaman coming in and doing the herbs,
You can still do that, man. You can still do that.
yeah.
We're adding that to our process, man. We're gonna have you come in with herbs when you're.
Hey, you never know.
I think he is the shaman.
Yeah. If you're with us on Instagram Live, if you have any questions, we're talking about homeowner maintenance tips and renovation projects to add value to your home. You drop us a comment or shoot an email to AskTheExpert@ChordRealEstate.com. Van, for somebody that's looking to tackle a little bit bigger project, we always tell our clients, call us first to have a conversation with us about not overbuilding for the neighborhood and not doing things that are a little bit too personalized. We talk about kitchens and baths a lot. What are some of the tips you can give there on key things to update to add value?
Well, of course, if you go, you look at magazines or you go on Pinterest or whatever, you'll see some of the things that are the latest trends, and you'll kind of know what the modern day buyers are looking for. Look at our backgrounds right here. Mine is very traditional. Jeremy's got the wood background. He's got the modern house that people want, right? Me, I'd have to paint this red wall. It is what it is. But that said, if you're thinking about updating a bathroom or the kitchen or whatever it is, don't think in terms of, I've got to have the magazine kitchen per se. You got to know what's going on in your neighborhood so that you don't go too far beyond the other comparables. And you want to talk to somebody like Steve, who can tell you what's happening in your neighborhood and let you know what you're up against in case you decide to sell, right? If you're going to live there for 20 years like me, then, you paint your walls red and do whatever you want to do, right? Now, if there's any chance you're going to move in the next 5 years, then if you are going to update, then I tell people, maybe just consider one step above what you have. So if you have vinyl flooring in your bathroom or in the kitchen, go to tile, right? If you have laminate countertops, you could go to stone, and you don't necessarily have to go to the highest rated, the most expensive. You can go into an entry-level price point, and you might even find that some entry-level price points of some of these products are that much more than replacing what you have. It's pretty amazing. So,
Van, I'm going to throw out one of your other terms. I'm giving away all your secrets here. PMR, magazine ready.
PMR, baby, PMR.
Which,
right.
Not a lot of us that are PMR these days on Zoom, but
always. Jeremy, do you have any idea what PMR means?
No.
Do you want to even try a guess?
PMR. Something ready, picture magazine ready.
Wow, you are so close. Okay, so my wife and her mother have this thing. They used to do this all the time. They had a People magazine subscription. Yeah. And so every Friday it comes in the mail, and they get on their treadmills over the phone, because her mom's in Illinois, we're in Nashville. So here we are, and they're on their treadmills, and they're running, and they're going through the magazine, just loving life, gossiping about the celebrities. Well, those first 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of People magazine. It's all these candid shots, right, of the celebrities living their lives, going to the grocery, walking their dog, doing whatever, and they're catching the paparazzi's catching them in the out of the bushes, right? And they're like, ooh, I hear them. Used to hear them in there talking. I mean, like, ooh, did you see Selma Hayek? Did you see this? Did you see that? Oh, did you see what J-Lo was wearing? And they're like, oh, can you even believe she went out in public looking like that? No, well, a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. So eventually, I kept hearing these comments, and I said one day to my wife, because she always dresses to the nines, she's always on point. And I looked at her, I said, you are so PMR. And she goes, what is that? I said, baby, your People magazine ready. I'll tell you, when we get out there at the paparazzi's in the bushes, you're going to look good next week on Friday in that magazine.
I love it.
Okay, let me rein you back in here, man. We only have a few minutes left. Where are we going with this?
Okay, so from then on, we would say PMR. So that said, we take that approach to houses, right? Whether that's what you're wearing or what you did to your house. If you take a picture, what are you going to see? Is it PMR? If not, fix it.
Okay, let me get my question in here.
Well, I thought that was the question.
So we very much are trying to prepare the home for showings, to have everything show ready.
Yes.
We maintain that show ready level. We maintain our staging through inspections, through appraisals, because, and we probably shouldn't tell this to Jeremy, but because inspectors and appraisers are human too, and
Jeremy's human.
Look really nice. It's kind of human nature to think, oh, this home's probably pretty well maintained. So I'm trying to get a little insider scoop from Jeremy here. Like, do you guys pay attention to like lifespan of things? And if you see something that's kind of in that range, do you look a little harder at it? If you see like a little more lifestyle residue, if you see like light bulbs that they haven't bothered to replace that are burned out, do you look harder at things? Like, really? I mean, I just want the little inside scoop here.
I'm not going to tell you.
Cannot divulge all my secrets, but I can tell you that, and this is just human nature, right? If something doesn't look as good as it should, or even if it's, you're going to sharpen your eye on that. Let's just say it's a water heater, for example. And the rest of the house kind of doesn't look so great. And when by the time we get to the water heater, man, it's not looking so great. And you're like, man, this is probably, I don't know how old this thing is. You start trying to look at it, and then, So, and not saying we wouldn't look at it if the house looks great,
of course,
but it's just human nature to hone in on things, especially if that's our job. Obviously we don't look at the aesthetics. That's what Van does. We don't look at the paint colors, but you walk into a house, and if it's hasn't been loved, as we say, right? The house has not been loved. Sure, everything else kind of looks unloved sometimes as well. So,
well, not just for your profession, but even for people who are walking in to look at the potential of buying the house.
Right.
Because, when they see paint chips and they see holes in the wall or whatever it is, little stuff, then they just start looking down on everything. And then they start looking for problems, right? And whereas if we can just kind of hook them and then pull them through, and as they're coming through, they see something else that looks great, and that looks great. They kind of have this, oh, I can see myself living there feeling, versus, right, oh, well, what else is wrong with this place?
Now, also, I will say this on for home inspection, we've had to be very, very careful on flipped homes, because we walk in and man, everything looks great, right? It's all bright and shiny and new on the surface, and on our job is to look at the mechanicals and the structure of the house, right? So something, you know, a lot on some flip homes, not all flip homes, on some flip homes, those things aren't replaced, and they haven't been replaced, and they are older or struggling or flat out just not working at all like they should be. And I'm talking about HVAC systems and water heaters and plumbing and electrical and that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of people hire us, because while it looks great on the surface, we're going to take it down and dig a little deeper and find out the bones and make sure all of that is where it's supposed to be as well.
So I think we've got like less than a minute left here. So I'll let Jeremy, you tell everybody best way to get a hold of you, how to reach you if they have questions or want to hire you to come take a look at their property.
Absolutely. Jeremy Martin, and it's All Pro Home Inspections. You can find us out there on the interwebs, All Pro Home TN, as in Tennessee, allprohometn.com. And you can also give us a call to our office, which is 615-337-1277. If you want to shoot me an email, it's Jeremy at allprohometn.com. Hit me up.
And you guys do residential and commercial inspections?
Yes, we do. We do both.
Cool. Man, I'll let you tell everybody how to reach us.
Me? Wow. ChordRealestate.com. Chord is CHORD, you know, like a chord. And yeah, that's the best way. Or 615-988-1001. Give us a call.
If you have any other questions after the broadcast, just shoot them to AskTheExpert at ChordRealestate.com. We'll get those answered for you. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.